So, hello everyone. I think we can get started with our next session, our last session for today, our last speaker. But before we do that, I would like to give like we've been doing since morning. Give two or three people an opportunity to share about, like, tell us who they are, where they're from, what you do, and what you hope to learn from this session. Then, before I introduce Fumi is mostly um, into education and all of those things. So I'm going to first of all say unmute Fumi and just get her to say hello. Then I would, so if you're interested, please raise your hands directly on the Zoom stuff. Hi, Fumi.
Hello.
Yeah, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, so,
Thank
so I'll just give a few people, two or three, to just introduce themselves, and then I'll introduce Fumi, and then allow her to share with us. Okay, so I have George from Kenya. George, I'm going to unmute you so you just share a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you're interested in learning in this session. Um, can you hear me, George?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. So please go ahead and just introduce yourself briefly.
Okay, hello. My name is George Sitati. I'm from Kenya. I'm a recent graduate from University of Nairobi. Currently, I'm running my own non-profit organization as Glade Start Foundation, which offers online extension services to marginalized and conflict-affected areas in Kenya. And I'm trying to scale up. And thank you for this opportunity. And I'm learning a lot, Cynthia. I'm learning a lot. Actually, if you have noticed, I've been following you on every online platform, social media. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you, George. Thank you. So you can mute yourself back. Okay, I think I've done that. So I see Builder raising a hand, but I still don't know if it's still hands from the initial session. But I'm just going to give you the chance if you can. Otherwise, we can just continue. So do any other person wants to say something briefly? Just introduce yourself, what you do, and what you're looking forward to learning. Okay, so Israel. Israel is interested in speaking. Let me unmute you, Israel. Yeah, go ahead. I think you are set. All set.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All. Good afternoon, Cynthia. My name is Israel from Nigeria. Then I'm an IT solution provider. I've worked on a lot of solutions. Some we've launched, some are still in the pipeline. At the same time, I run an NGO youth empowerment platform. We are hoping to empower as more as 1 million youth. And this program so far has made me connect to a lot of people from the groups I was shared to from my team. I've been able to meet a lot of people who shared ideas, and I'm still hoping to share more and to learn more from the program from the people. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the program. I really appreciate this, Cynthia. You have been awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Israel. So you can mute yourself back. Thank you. Um, so I'm so excited and honored to have Funmi Ilori with us. I'm going to give a brief introduction about who she is, and then I will hand over the floor to her. So Funmi Ilori is the founder of I Read Mobile Library, the first innovative books on wheels for children in Nigeria. She is also the director of training at I Rise Mobile School, a network of affordable nursery and primary schools using technology-based learning model. She holds a master's degree in educational psychology from the University of Lagos and a BSc in urban and regional planning, which drives her passion for environmental and climate change issues. She's an author of children literatures, um, a, um, a prolific storyteller, and a serial social entrepreneur. So Funmi also completed a business and entrepreneurship course at Clark Atlanta University in 2015 as part of our Mandela Washington Fellowship. And to be honored to know that that was my cohort. So I got to know Funmi during the Mandela Washington Fellowship, where we both were fellows. So Funmi has been doing such a great work with our organization, the I Read Mobile Library. She has like educated several children going into rural areas, have expanded her volunteer network to hundreds of youths that are working both across, even beyond Nigeria, thousands of youths beyond Nigeria who are doing great stuff in learning. She's really transforming and causing a game changer in the educational system by using technology and innovation. So Funmi would share with us her story, how she started, what she has done so far, how she's been growing, and some of the things that we can learn from these experiences. And if you have questions, you can put that in the chat, and then I will collate that and ask her as we proceed. So thank you so much. Funmi, over to you.
Right. Beautiful afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me, Cynthia. And I'm really excited to be connecting with fellow young leaders. As Cynthia's told you, one of my major strengths is storytelling. And so I'll be sharing my story about how I started the journey. And I need us to take notes, because as leaders, you must be able to write. As much as one of the things I drive is reading, I tell people you cannot achieve a lot if you're not a writer. So you need to write your goals, you need to write your to-do list, you need to write your dreams, you need to just keep writing. I keep a journal every year, January to December, and I store my journals, okay? All right, so my story began several years ago. I got married quite early in 2003. I was 23 years old, and my husband did not want me to work. He was very comfortable, and he asked me to be a stay-at-home mom. But I had too much energy to sit at home, too much energy. So one of the first things I did was to go on trainings. So I attended this training, which was Daystar Leadership Academy. And at that training, we were told to write down a big dream. They said it had to be a big dream that we're not able to even achieve by ourselves. So the dream has to be bigger than you. So that day I wrote to build the largest library in Africa, because that was a dream I knew I couldn't achieve. I wanted to earn a lot of points for my big dream. So when we finished writing the big dream, they asked us to flesh it up, what will you need to achieve this dream? I said, the dream that they told us we'll not be able to achieve. But I went ahead, I started asking all of my colleagues in the class that, please, what will you need if you want to build the largest library in Africa? So after putting everything together, it was time for us to submit. And we were told that we're not going to submit, that we should take those dreams and we should go and start with what we had. Start with what you have. And I wasn't impressed, because I put a lot of work into writing that dream. I wanted to get A+. So, but now they said, go and start. So I took my dream home, and what I had at home was DVDs and books. So I put the DVDs in one basket, I put the books in another basket. I lived in an estate, so I went around, I started going around from house to house, telling people that I was running a library in fact, a mobile library. After all, mobile means moving from one place to the other. And people started renting. It was adults. They were renting the DVDs. Some were renting the books. But whenever, for the DVDs, I would go back to their house the following day to collect the DVD, and I would give them a new one. So you didn't have to ask if you wanted a new one. You will get a new DVD. And I was making money at that time. Nollywood just started, so DVDs, the DVD centers were renting films for 50 naira. I was renting mine out for 40 naira. And so every day I was making multiples of 40 nairas. For the books, it was supposed to be 50 naira per week. But whenever I take it to my subscribers, they just go by, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't even opened the book. Take your 50 naira. And I go again, oh, I'm sorry, I've read only chapter 1. Take your 50 naira. So they were very interested. They didn't mind to pay the money, but they were not reading. They were adults. So I'm going to be pointing out the lessons from this storytelling that I'm sharing with you. And the first thing was writing down that big dream. The second was taking action, starting with what I had. I didn't have to buy anything. The third thing was moving from door to door. I did not wait for my customers to come to my house. I went to meet my customers. The fourth thing I did was to save. I was saving from my 40 naira. And I like to always share this, because if you're not able to save from the little money you're making now, from your 40 naira, you won't be able to save from 400 naira. Neither will you be able to save from 400,000 naira, because the money is always never enough. So I saved that year to the tune of 12,000 naira. And I bought my first shares for my son. That shares is 17 years old now, from that day that I saved it. And so after 1 year, I had to get a job. You know, I'd pleaded with my husband to say, please allow me work. I just wanted to do something. So I went into education. My first degree was urban and regional planning, and that was environment. But I started doing things in my estate, gathering children together, telling them stories, organizing sporting events, taking the children to plant trees. In that estate, if you still go there, you see the flower birds that we made. And that was because of my activities with the children. And so after that, I went into the school that I wanted to teach, and I was admitted. They told me that the only vacancy was for an assistant teacher. I didn't know what that was. I just asked them that, please, do assistant teachers, can I access children? And they said, yes, you can. But your teacher has an NCE. I said, I don't even know what that means. As long as I can be with children, that's what I was passionate about. So I got the job. But I think my boss already knew that I was a better expert than my teacher. Nevertheless, my teacher had more experience. So I learned so much from her, so much. And because I was willing to submit, she groomed me. Within 3 months, another teacher resigned, and I was promoted to take that teacher's place. Ordinarily, they don't promote people like that. First of all, I didn't have education. And next, I had stayed just 3 months. The lesson here is whatever you find your hands to do, do it well. Do it diligently, okay? The position I got was lower than my status, but it didn't matter. I was there to learn, and it was something I was passionate about, and I got the job. So I started working in that space. It was at that time that I did this leadership program that I went for. I spent 3 years in that school and I moved into another school. In the new school that I went into, I was tagged the most innovative teacher because I would do researches, I would do more things than was committed into my hands. I showed up as a leader in the new school that I was. Not long after, my younger sister sent me a message and said, oh, the federal government is giving out grants to people that have business ideas. She said, you're very good with children. Maybe you should start a school. I said, oh, really? I don't want to start a school. I have a dream. And my dream is to build the largest library in Africa. I said, well, I don't know what that means, but just write it. Let's help you submit. And so I wrote that business plan. I submitted. 66,000 women submitted that business plan. 6,000 women were shortlisted, and I was one of them. That program was tagged the You Win Grants by President Goodluck Jonathan. It was for young people. And so at that point, I went to business school. I saw a lot of young entrepreneurs, people that had even started. I was still in teaching. I didn't understand what this was. All I had was a dream. I didn't even know what it meant to start a business. I don't know, maybe someone here is also like me. So it's okay to start raw. You don't even know, you don't have any basics. Thank God that Cynthia is here to help you. I didn't have any of such groomings. And I was going to build something that had never existed. We are the first in the industry. And so I wrote that business plan again, and I won. I was part of the finalists, 1,200 finalists. I won 10 million naira. I've never seen 1 million naira in my life. Like, as a teacher, you earn between, I was working in a good school, so I was earning 94,000 naira at that time. And they said, you want 10 million. I said, to do what? So with my 10 million naira, we were giving monies in tranches. So the first thing I did was to resign from my place of work. And in resigning, because I teach in a school, you're not expected to resign in the middle of the term. I got I got this award in April. My boss had been carrying along to know about all of those programs. And in July, which was end of the term, I resigned. I was celebrated in my resignation. The lesson for all of us is that whatever it is that you're doing, you have a boss now and you want to move into your own business and you're not serving well, you may not do well in your own business. Yes, so like I said, you may not. It is not a permanent thing, but it's a seed. And that seed will grow, it will germinate, it will become multiples. So wherever you are serving now, do it with all diligence. So I left my place of work, I resigned. And again, I started with what I had, which was my mom's car at that time. I bought a few books. I had also been saving as a teacher. So in my savings, I saved 10,000 every month. I'd saved up for 2 years and I'd saved 240,000. I got additional 40,000 from the insurance that I was saving. So that was 280,000. I withdrew that money and that was what I used to start off my business. The grant had not come in then. The previous savings that I had done in my previous goals, I used it to send myself for a master's program because at that time, my husband lost his job. This is the power of saving from the little that you earn. When I started working, I was earning 12,000 naira and I was still saving from it. My husband was doing well, so he asked me to save everything, but I will save 10,000 naira pay my tithe and spend maybe 200 naira or something like that. But it helped me when I needed to go for my master's. Now, when it was time for us to start off the business, I went to a camping program. The first thing I created was a receipt booklet because I knew I was going to be making money and I needed to be accountable for those monies. So I prepared a receipt booklet. I prepared my e-flyers. I prepared a banner, and I prepared a form so that I could use it to take the data of the children I was going to be registering. Without starting, I went to pitch in my children's school, and they said, oh, that's a really good idea. We're going to plug in the new term. Even me, I don't know what mobile library was going to look like. I just knew that I wanted to be giving out books to children. Anyway, to cut my long story short, the monies came. I bought a truck, which we customized into a library. I bought another van, and that made it till we were moving from state school to school. We recruited the first 3 members of staff, and the business started. Don't forget, my business did not start with 10 million naira. My business started with what I had. The 10 million naira only helped me to enhance the business. While doing the business, we were making money. It's a social enterprise. So children sign up for 500 naira per month, but we needed a lot of turnover. We needed several children. In my business plan, we're supposed to make 10 million naira in 9 months. My people, we did not make 10 million naira in 9 months. We made maybe 130,000 naira in 9 months. So this is also to tell you, don't overwork yourself. What you have in your business plan is good. It is a good guide. If you don't have a business plan, you haven't even started. But in your projections, I heard somebody say, I want to impact 1 million young people. That's good. I want to influence Africa. I want to build the largest library in Africa. We're 7 years old. We currently have less than 10,000 children in our database. But we're building, we're impacting. The race would continue, okay? We're not going to stop at what we're doing. And fortunately for us, because of the diligence of the work, I was even working on Sundays. I would take the truck to church and children were coming to sign up to the program. One of the days, someone walked into my truck. He observed all the things I was doing and he said, oh, that parent came to make inquiry. You did not take the parent's number. I said, oh no, he doesn't. I don't have what he needs. He said, no, you should still take the person's number. So in my head, I was like, excuse me, who are you? Why are you coming into my truck? He observed many things that we're doing. And at the end of it all, he said, oh, I like what you do. We can send you to Sweden. We can send you to US. We can send you to... In my head, I was saying, excuse me, do you know who I am? So at the end of it all, he gave me his card. And as soon as he left, someone else greeted him. And I asked the person, who is that man that came in? He gave me his profile. He was a top executive in the energy sector. So I sent him an email, and he was the one that told me that the work I was doing was social enterprise, that I was a social entrepreneur, because he was asking me, I said, no, I'm a businesswoman. I'm a business. So he gave me that orientation. And today, that person is my #1 mentor. I reach him for many things because he understood what it was that I was doing. You need to find yourself a mentor. Not someone that wants you to do what they do. No. Someone that is going to help you build what you are doing. Now, I would move on to our expansion. With the iRead mobile library, we don't make so much money, but we have provided a lot more services that can help us break even. So we started a bookshop. which helps us supply books in large quantities. We started a camping program, and this camping program is also a one-of-a-kind. Children come to our camping spaces. They stay for 1 week, and one of the major things they do is reading and leadership. They do many other things. Those are like our core things. Thereafter, we started off with a school because we have expertise in that area, and we saw a problem. When we created the library in our community, we found out that children will come to the library, but they did not even know how to read. The library is not where you learn how to read. The library gives you access to what to read. And that was how we created the school program. In creating the school program, we did not want it to be a regular school. We wanted a school that would leverage on technology. And so we ran a blended learning model, which is what is in vogue now, or what is going to be in vogue eventually. It's not going to be school as usual. Children will not just go to school to meet a teacher. Now they're going to plug in to be able to meet up with children across the world. Thank God for COVID-19. Because of COVID-19, we innovated another school, which was a virtual school. We called it Virtual iSchool. And let me quickly mention, we built a brand around what it is that we do. We call it the I brand. So we have I Read. We have a children's salon called I Glow. We do some consultancy. We call it I Educate, which is training for teachers. We have a nursery and primary school. It's called I Rise School. And so all of the I's are the things that we create. For our virtual school, we also called it the I School. And we opened that up for free. When we opened it up, we thought we were just going to have a few children come on board. Along the line, several children started signing up because we looked at it. What is it that we can do to help children that would not go to school at this time? And so what we created, we had over 2,000 children sign up for it. And we were teaching them from the basics. We're using WhatsApp platform. So we have like 6 WhatsApp platforms run concurrently, and children are there learning. We're posting lessons to them. They have resumption time. They have closing time. We've leveraged on Google Classroom too. And we realized that we couldn't even do it on our own. That is myself and my team members. So we called for volunteers. We went online and request for volunteers. And we categorically stated that we were not going to pay because we were also not making money. We had over 100 people sign up for the volunteering work. And we already had targets. We had a template for them to prepare lessons. So a lot of lessons, content was chunked down to us. We would edit it, post to the children. Even though we did not make money from this program, or we're not making money from this program, we have a network of over 100 expert volunteers. We have database of over 2,000 children. We have content that has been created that can become an app for us. I'm using this to also mention to people that want to work in the nonprofit space. It's not always about the money. There are many other goods that you can generate from not just making money. Okay, so I'll stop here and take questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Funmi. That was fantastic. I learned a lot of things. And thank you for sharing your story. You're really a good storyteller. So some of the things you mentioned really resonated with a lot of things that we are trying to get them to do and to learn. One of the things you mentioned, which you said, document, write a business plan, document, write. So part of the task during this challenge is for them to document a lot of things, right? So, and you all can hear them say these things over and over again. So I would like to use this opportunity to encourage you to complete those tasks and make sure you write and read them appropriately, because I think some of our African people are limited or challenged in that area. They say if you want to hide the secret from a black man, right? Put it in writing. But that's no more the story for us anymore. It's completely changed, because we have a new generation of young people and leaders who are willing to read, write, and share those stories. So you also mentioned about mentorship, very necessary. Mentors have been fun. So even the past speakers they've mentioned that too. Having a mentor is like the major pillar most of the time, and even taking experiences in internship and volunteer opportunities can give you those experiences. So thank you so much for sharing all of these things. I will take questions from the chat shortly, and then if you have questions, please put them down. And then I also want you to know that congratulations on You Win. I was also one of the beneficiaries for You Win. We win too, I guess. You win 2 women grants. So I was so excited to hear you say that. Some of the questions, I know a lot of people have made wonderful comments. They're really excited to learn some of the things you shared with us. So Insa Basi is trying to ask a question. She says, Funmi, thanks for your inspiring story. Good to know we are not just age mates, but we also got married same year. That's where the most significant challenges. What were the most significant challenges you faced? Did you ever reach a stage you felt like giving up? How did you overcome barriers? Do you measure your achievements with monetary value? Is that the right thing to do? If not, how do you measure achievements? What does I prefix in your brand name denote? So there are so many, so I might just take it one at a time and then ask you if you remember. So maybe you can take the part that says, what were your most significant challenges? I think so. Let me start. Okay, let me give it to the questions. I think the chat is just difficult to. Okay, so what were your most significant challenges? What did you do? Did you ever reach a stage where you felt like giving up? How did you overcome those barriers? So maybe after that, I will ask you next.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the question. My most significant challenge was the fact that we were first in the industry. So there was nobody to copy. But that was also a good thing for me because it helped me to study more. I'm not a reader, sort of, even though I read, but it made me read. So I didn't have a choice than to research what is going on around the world. How can a mobile library survive and all of those things. So everything we do, we innovate it. There's nothing like go and copy from somewhere. It doesn't exist yet. So we're looking for people that would be our competitors, so to speak, so that maybe someone else would just, but I tell you, we're doing good in the industry. So outside of that challenge, every other thing just comes close to easy for us. I learned to use networks very early in life in terms of asking people for help. If not, we would have also had the challenge of human resource, because who do you employ, for example? There's nobody that has done book business, so to speak. When you say business, people think of selling books, right? But for us, it wasn't just about selling books. We had to come up with programs around the mobile library. We had to develop content for the mobile library. After some time, we even plugged into the Sustainable Development Goals and how we could use that content from the world's largest lesson to start teaching children. Because when we come up this month, this term, we might just say, oh, let's teach financial intelligence. And next month, we're saying, oh, no, let's teach computer literacy. And let us teach. And we were just having to develop content over and over. But all of that challenge helped us to innovate. The second question was about, can you tell me again?
So the second
Cynthia,
part says,
what was it?
can you hear me? The second part says, do you
Yes.
measure your achievement with monetary value? Is that, okay, or do you mean like the second question from the first batch? Because I'm asking the next batch now.
Yes, from the first part, yes.
Okay. So I think she meant, did you ever reach a stage you felt like giving up? How did you overcome barriers?
All right, so no, I never reached the stage where I had to give up because I have a dream and I haven't achieved it. So it just keeps pushing me, because to build the largest library is not yams. As God would have it, I was selected as one of Mandela Washington Fellows. And that helped me to also know that God is in this dream with me. If you're going to build the largest library in Africa, you need Africans, isn't it? And God just connected me with 499 young Africans that just all I need is a call and I go into their countries, okay? These are the people that will rule their countries in a very short while. And I already have that network with them. So my dream keeps pushing me to achieve more on that note. So I've never gotten to a point where I say I want to stop. Now, I've gotten people that have sort of discouraged me. They say, oh, Funmi, you don't need to do this. You're not making money from mobile library. Just go into book sales. Yes, I can make money from book sales. I sell books anyway. But you see, the mobile library, it helps me reach out more. It brings out the best in me because for me to sell books, I don't need to innovate anything. I will buy the books and do marketing, isn't it? But with the mobile library, I need to do researches. I connect. It just brings out the best in me. So that's to the next question, to say, do I measure my success by money? No. I measure my success by impact. How many children have we been able to reach? How many families have we been able to support? What are the stories these families are sharing? We go by, we see families, and you know one thing, I'm not shy to say this. Just recently, about 2 years ago, God told me that the largest library in Africa that I'm asking you to build is not a building. It is lives. It is so much lives that there is no child that will pass by you and not say, I am an iRead ambassador. So when I see children pass by me and say, oh, I'm an iRead ambassador, then I know that I'm achieving success. Until I achieve all of that, but it's not money. I'm making money and I'm making good money, but money is not the drive that measures our impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Funmi. So I hope that answered the question clearly. Just to give a bit context, the Mandela Washington Fellowship Funmi talked about, it's an initiative of YALI, Young African Leaders Initiative, came about by sponsored by President Barack Obama's own tenure. So for me, that was how I got to know. I'm one of those 40,000 African network. And the good part of that program that also helped, I remember very well so Mandela Washington Fellowship gave grants, I think about $25,000 grants. And Funmi benefited from it, which also helped her in the setup for her school. So I think this is really a fantastic session. I'm really glad that you were able to tell them the story about like having a dream and staying true to that dream with all effort. So I want to clarify the part of social entrepreneurship, because some people might be wondering, Andrew in the beginning says he's not a social entrepreneur, he's a business person. Funmi is a social entrepreneur. And the reason why she measures impact, measures achievement based on reach, on impact, is because she's a social entrepreneur. So she's making profit, money in some of her products to sustain her business. So it's sustainable. So when you are measuring, when you are creating your solutions, it's either you create it as a full profit or as a social entrepreneur. But if you're creating as a social entrepreneur, it has to be sustainable. You have to generate sales in some of your product, at least to keep it like sustainable. But your major focus as a social entrepreneur is the impact. Why the major focus as a for-profit person is actually income. So that's fantastic. Do we have more questions for Funmi? If that's all, I think we might round it up here soon. If you have a question or do anyone want to say something, you can just raise up your hand in the chat or raise your hands like directly on Zoom. Okay, so I have Sadia Mutala wants to ask a question. Please be brief.
Hello, Ma. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. It's been a very fantastic session with you. While you talk, I just see myself in you. I see myself like while you speak, everything about you just reflect like I'm seeing Sadia in you. But I've always, I think, for the past 5 months, I've always had my head around everybody is saying, Sadia, you're doing well with your initiative, you're training young people with vocational and life skills and entrepreneurial skills as well as soft skills, but you're not making money. People outside on the surface, like say for example on social media, everybody just have you high, they see you as somebody very great, but we that will know you, you are not making money. At some point we are the one even giving you money. So why don't you just stop all this since it's not bringing you money? I am just driven by my passion. At some point I get really frustrated with all this, but the passion is still there. I don't know how I can thrive and how I can just be and then keep that passion with me. Thank you so much. Your lecture has been so empowering for me. At some point I felt like I want to cry, but I said I'm going to listen to you to the very end. Thank you.
Thank you. So Sadia, it's okay to make money and it's okay to make good money. I've also received that in my family, sort of. I'm the poorest, okay? So we're 4 in my family. We have a doctor, we have a lawyer, we have an engineer, and I am the entrepreneur. So everybody says, oh, Funmi, you're so this, you need to get a job. If you get a job, you would make at least 800,000 per month. Yes, I can make all of that. But you see, I also have a very supportive family that says eventually what you're building is going to be big. And because everybody knows the vision, you need to write it down so that everyone around you will be able to help you run with it. So I have that support. I get that support, a lot of it from my family members, even though I'm not making that much money yet. Now, you need to also, like Cynthia said, make your work sustainable. So we pay all our basic needs. We pay everything. We've never had to loan to pay, okay? We've never had to loan to pay for anything. The only challenge is that we don't have anything extra. So we're not investing in anything yet. And this is just the stage, okay? So when I look at very successful people, I hear their stories after 20 years. I hear their stories after 30 years, and I'm not in a rush. If they got there in 20 years, I'll probably get there in 15 years, but I'm not going to get there in 5 years. And so don't put too much pressure on yourself. I shared with you that we've been running a free program for children. We ran that program for 4 months, April, May, June, July. Usually that is when school month runs. In August, we host a camping program in my even if there was no COVID. So in August, we decided that, oh, we will run a virtual camping program and we will make money from it. And because we've run free ones, we have database. A lot of parents have plugged into the paid one. And now we have money. So whatever it is that your family members, your friends that are saying you need to make money, they love you. Don't look at them as critics. They love you. It means that you must innovate. What is that thing you will do within your passion or outside of your passion to make money? If your passion drives you, continue with it, but please make money. We mustn't become beggars because we're following passion. After some time, if you don't make money, your passion will die.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. So I think we have, okay, so we have Isabasi. She wants to speak, ask a question. Just a quick intro. So Isabasi is one of our mentors on this innovation challenge. I think she was one who also asked that question about being very similar. The series of questions she has. She's a doctor and a lecturer at University of Akwa Ibom. So I'm going to give her the audience to speak here. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Funmi, for the inspiring story you've told us, and thank you, Cynthia, for organizing this inspiring session.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I have another question for you. My question is, have you ever thought about expanding the range of beneficiaries of your enterprise, from your enterprise? Because I heard you talk about school children, those in primary school. Have you thought of extending it to secondary school and university students?
Okay, thank you. Yes, we have thought about it. We also run with secondary school students, but not university. And the reason why we haven't gone ahead to university is because we don't have the capacity. So it's one thing to want to build a business, it's another thing to know where your strength lies. I'm a children person. I'm an expert with children. And somehow the kinds of people that I attract are also like minds. But now that technology is taking the waves now, we want to stay in our area of strength, but we also want to expand. But I tell you, we won't go into universities. We have enough children to impact that university may not be it. There's also something about the foundation. The good book says, if the foundation be damaged, what can the righteous do? One of my friends will say, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the makeup artist do? So, the makeup artist starts from the foundation, you know, and so I've decided to stay in my area of strength, children. So we run across from early years up till secondary school. Now, even the secondary school students, we've had challenges with them. And that is because our books are limited. We have almost 16,000 books in our library. We can't cover primary school children. But when we go into secondary schools, you know what they tell us? They say, Mrs. Ilori, do you have books on animals that grow wings? Do you have books on stomach that you, and they know what they want. So there's nothing like, you can't cajole them to say, why don't you read on Obafemi Awolowo? They say, no, it's like, what to read on robotics. And so how many of such books are we going to buy? Because they have several genres of books. But for the younger ones, it's easier for us to tell them, you know what, I'm going to give you Spider-Man book today, but help me read on Nnamdi Azikiwe. If you can read Nnamdi Azikiwe, you will get Wimpy Kid. And so they agreed to read such books with us. It's easier for us to help. And based on that vision of building the foundation, we have decided to stay in our area of strength. As time goes on, just like the virtual school that we just completed just this 2 weeks ago, we had volunteers say, oh, Mrs. Ilori, I'd like to teach on etiquette. Etiquette was not part of our plan. So really, please come on board and teach it. It's, oh, please, can we teach on sustainable development goals? Can we teach on this? I know that as time goes on, we would have other people that will come to say, look, I'm an expert with university students. Can we help? Can we support you in that area? Why not? We'll go ahead to do it.
So thank you so much for me. That was very, very clear and fantastic. So this is helping to define your reach, define your customer need, target audience. So when you are designing a new initiative, if you notice this program, we were specific in the age range, and we say from this age to this age and from this country. So when you're defining your customer, you have to be specific in the area and stay with it until you succeed with it. Then by the time you are scaling, you can grow into other customer region through the help, the support of your team. So I think that's where what being Funmi was trying to explain. So when you are creating an innovation, and you get to the point where you be asked to create the personnel. So who is that personnel? So it helps you to define your customer niche, your target audience, which is very valuable. So many people are trying to jump in different areas and try different things at the same time. You won't be able to stand the weight. So I thank you. Funmi has been very focused. She knows what she wants. She has been on that thing for long, and we now know her like globally. She's known for that, and that's been fantastic. So sometimes again is the resilience, because when you start something and you think that things are being shaky, you're not working, you're not making money, just stay on it, because you never can tell the time where you break those limits, break even from that. So thank you Funmi. You've been fantastic. You've been wonderful. I'm not so sure.
I'd like to share a last word.
Okay, good.
And it's personal. So tell everyone in the entrepreneurship journey, in the leadership journey, you will not achieve much if you do not read. Please pay attention to books, okay? Pay attention to books. There's so much to learn from books. Give yourself a target. My target is to read at least one book a month. I read 3, but no matter how busy I am, I would read 1. Right now, there is even internet. I read books that are already summarized, and I could read 30 books a month. So please, in this journey, if you've told yourself before, you say, I don't even like reading. I don't like reading. You won't do well in this journey. So please tell yourself, I read. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I think somebody asked that question. Why? What is the meaning of that prefix I you use for your branding?
Okay, so I stands for many things, but the first thing it stands for is innovation. So what we call ourselves I teachers, I leaders. So we say we're innovative, we're inspiring, we're informed, we're everything positive I, including intelligence. Good. But the first I is innovation.
Good, that's wonderful. And then Dr. Nsabasi says, if you ever think about expanding to university students, I can be of help. I understand your concern and current limitation. So I'll be happy to do an introduction when that, wow. Yeah, and then you guys can pick it up from there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think we have come to the end of this session. I'm going to open up the floor for you to unmute yourself and say something wonderful to Funmi as an appreciation. Go ahead and unmute yourself now.
Thank you so
much. Thank you. We are so grateful. May God bless you and love you
so much.
Thank
you very much. May God bless you now.
You're the one dream.
Thank you.
May God increase you in knowledge, love you more,
thank you
and
very much.
inspire you more. You're so fantastic.
Okay, it's okay. Say one word. Use one word you heard from the whole story. Say one word. Just mention one word you heard.
Inspiring.
Inspiring.
Read.
Fantastic.
10 million.
No, one word you had, volunteer. Good.
And
Read.
Read.
Powering.
Powering. Innovative.
Education.
Education.
Save.
Save.
Whatever you're
Save.
doing, do it well.
Do it well. Good. Go the extra mile. You went the extra mile. Go the extra mile.
Documentation. Idea. Vision.
Define your needs.
Sure your work is sustainable.
Right.
Sustainable.
So you read and write.
Read and write. Also.
Developments.
Good. I'm so glad, and I'm very grateful that you guys were paying attention.
And be humble.
Humble. Okay, that's enough. Thank you so much. Funmi.
And always get help.
And we love you.
Okay, so thank you. You've heard it from them. They listened, they heard you, and I'm very sure that they'll take those things that they have learned today and make good use of it. So thank you. This is worth your time. And we would be hosting Funmi and the rest of our faculty again at the end of the virtual summit, where they would listen to you now. You speak, because that time you'll be presenting your own solution, and then they want to see how innovative you've been, and before we award our final winners. So thank you so much for me. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Then to you all, so congratulate you. We are finally launched into the Ignite Innovation Lab. Thank you for making it all through from yesterday up to this very moment. You guys have been wonderful. I can't really express my joy enough. So I encourage you to please take your tasks seriously. Remember, document. That's why we created a series of documentation process and guidelines that would help you deliver, a series of methodology that will help you learn how to innovate, and also at the end of it, being able to present and teach to the panel. So I look forward to the wonderful things you're going to create out of this, and even post this program. And I hope you're able to connect with each other and network. So be patient with us. We will definitely, for those who are still having issues with Team, we will definitely restructure and send you the emails as soon as possible, by today latest, and you will definitely hear from us today. And I'm sure that by Sunday, everybody would have finally sorted out with their team. And then lastly, team leaders, you will get an invite from us. We would have a wonderful session tomorrow with the team leaders, with someone very special. Mene Blessing is also my husband, is one of the top leading technology personnel in the agriculture and veterinary sector in Nigeria. He's the person Andrew mentioned. Andrew interned with him, which helped Andrew brew into what he has today. So we are dedicating that session to the team leaders. You're going to learn a lot about leadership, and to be able to make sure you come and attend and be there for that few hours. And don't worry, to the rest of you, you will definitely get an opportunity to hear from him some other time. Okay, thank you. Take good care of yourself and have a wonderful and a pleasant weekend. Okay, take care. Bye. You are allowed to unmute yourself now. Say bye to everybody. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.